What does this 25% tariff mean for your industry? How has your industry been responding? And how many jobs are at stake?
So thank you for having me, number one. The tariffs could be as much as 100% on French sparkling wine and champagne. And the number one point that we keep trying to explain is that we think that the largest impact from these tariffs would be on U.S. workers and on U.S. jobs and on the U.S. economy. In large part, France is able to sell as much champagne as they produce, whether it's to the United States or other parts of the world. So we think that the damage to U.S. jobs could be as many as 17,000 employees in the wine and spirits industry and leave lasting damage on the U.S. economy.
Wow, these are some pretty big numbers. What's your message to Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, who over the past week has said that that 25% tariff could increase to 100%? What would that mean for your industry?
Well, like I said, I think that the damage would be severe. There's two different sets of tariffs, and I think it's important to understand there's some tariffs that went into place in October on French still wines, and those are 25% right now, and they're being discussed as being raised to 100%. And then on the digital services tax, there are new tariffs on French sparkling and champagne that could also be as much as 100%. And that sort of double down is what's particularly alarming to us as an industry. And frankly, our industry has worked for years to try to eliminate tariffs and allow for the free flow of goods in both directions. We really hope that Ambassador Lighthizer can negotiate a settlement and not have to go to using tariffs. We really see that as being a back and forth that only escalates and is counterproductive.
Although a classic episode of uncertainty then, I guess I wonder what the industry does in the meantime in terms of ordering inventory. Do they try to minimize what they're bringing in from Europe and try to highlight whatever is this equal substitute made in North America or somewhere else?
Well, I think there's a couple of really good points you just made in there. The uncertainty around when and if the tariffs would be applied is a huge issue. There are a number of importers that don't want to ship goods right now because they don't know when the tariffs would be applied, and they have to set their price before the goods hit the water. And our supply chain can be as long as 120 days for product coming from Europe to the U.S.
You mentioned the 25% tariff. What has already been the impact in the marketplace since those tariffs went into place in October? And given what you've learned, what would your expectations be if, in fact, we do get the 100% tariff on things like sparkling wine?
Well, the 25% tariffs have certainly had an impact, and we've seen that. The issue with the 100% is that I was having breakfast with an importer that we do business with the other day, and he said, Barkley, if these tariffs go into place, it's not going to just hurt my business, it's going to put me out of business. And you heard that over and over again in the testimony last week in front of the USTR. So we fear that there are pretty drastic consequences to this.
Finally, on pricing, what should consumers expect? There was one estimate that said a bottle of Moet Chandon will go up from $70 to $140. Is that what you're seeing in the marketplace, Barkley?
Well, the tariff percentage hasn't been set yet, so it's hard to say exactly what the impact on the shelf would be. But with a 100% tariff, you could see a doubling in prices.